Hey everyone, it's Jaden here from SpeedCubeShop.com, and today we're taking a look at the new MoYu AoSu V7. So it has been quite a while since we've had a good 4x4 from MoYu. The last one was the AoSu WRM, and that was back in 2019, I want to say. So about 5 years ago, so we are well overdue for an upgrade. And if you guys are curious as to what the other previous 6 versions are, it's the MoYu AoSu, the Mini AoSu, something called the AoSu GT, which is different from the next one, the GTS, and then the next one, the GTS2M, and then finally the AoSu WRM. So those are 6 versions, and then we have this one making 7. So with all that out of the way, let's go ahead and just jump right into it. So the box here looks quite nice. The image here is of an exploded 4x4, and there are 4 different versions of this cube, so the actual art on the box is going to be different depending on which version you have. This one is the triple track magnetic, and we'll get into the different versions in just a moment. And a little disclosure, we only have the triple track version, at least at the time of recording. We will be making another video that goes over all the different versions once they've arrived to us and we've had a little bit of time to try them out. When it comes to the unboxing, you just take the lid off. We have just 2 items in here. We have the cube itself and of course an accessories box. And for the accessories, of course, we have the MoYu screwdriver. We have a couple of cards here. And lastly, of course, we have a giant cube solve guide. And that's everything that comes with the packaging here. The cube itself looks really nice. So as I mentioned before, we have the triple track version. The other versions are single track frosted, which is $19.95. Then we have the UV version of the single track, which is $24.95. So essentially what the single track means is that it has the standard edge and corner magnets. And next we have the double track, which is only in UV. That one is $44.95. That comes with your edge and corner magnets along with a ball core. And of course we have the triple track version, again, only in UV. This one is $55.95, and this has edge and corner magnets, a ball core, and then it also has some bonus magnets in the hidden edge pieces. So we have quite a few different versions, all in a pretty wide price range, starting at $19 going all the way up to $55. And just for reference, the previous version, the AoSu WRM, that one was $42.95. So we have a couple of options that are below the previous version, one that's about the same, and then one that is a little bit more. But now let's go ahead and do some first turns. So first thing I noticed, this cube is really fast, but it's not so fast that it's uncontrollable. It's still relatively stable. It's not really overshooting all that much. I am getting a little bit of catching, but I think that's more due to the fact that I'm so used to using the bin cube and not this cube. The cube does have a bit of a dry feel, which isn't too bad. It does seem like they didn't put as much factory lube into it, which is nice, so we don't have to clean as much out. But it also is quite clacky and a little bit loud. Not super loud, but definitely louder than some of the most recent 4x4 releases, so something to keep in mind. When it comes to corner cutting, it's actually quite good, coming in at a little under 45, and for reverse, it is a bit under line to line. And for the magnetic strength, the inner layers are a bit strong, but the cube is so fast that I think it actually is more of a pro than a con. And then the outer layers are a bit weaker than the inner ones. They're not weak, they're definitely still up there on the stronger side of things, just a little bit weaker than the inner magnets. So overall, this cube, just based off first impressions, is really, really good. I really enjoy it. I think it's great. The only thing I could see really causing some hesitation for some buyers may be the size of the cube. It is smaller than the WRM, which was already considered to be a somewhat smaller cube. You can see it's about 0.5 millimeter to 1 millimeter smaller, which means that it's somewhere around the 58 to 58.5 millimeter range. So if you aren't a fan of smaller 4x4s, that may cause some hesitation, but if you don't really mind the size, then definitely worthwhile. While we have the previous version out, comparing them side by side, you can see that the piece design has changed a little bit, specifically on those center pieces. You can see that the corners have a bit of a bevel to them, similar to that of the Super R3M, the first one, not the second one, which in my opinion, I think was the best looking design for a cube. So it's really nice to see that kind of design spreading onto the AoSu here. So as I mentioned earlier, there are a couple different versions. You have single, double, and triple track. We have the triple track version, so I'm gonna just kind of give you a visualizer of what all of the different tracks are. So the first track is your standard edge and corner magnets where they attract on the sides here. That comes with every version. So the second track is going to be the corner to core magnets, aka ball core. And then the third track is actually the magnetic attraction between the hidden edge piece and then one of the normal edge pieces. To show you guys how that works, I'm gonna disassemble the hidden edge and then one of the normal edge pieces. So this is what your normal edge is gonna look like on the triple track version. You have the magnet on the side, which is going to attract to your corners. And then the other 2 magnets, the one kind of in the stem here and then kind of at the bottom, is going to attract to the inner edge piece, which has a magnet that's all the way in the back. And you have this magnet that's on the side. And of course, those sets of magnets will attract like that. And that would be the third set of tracks. So there's some stuff that we've seen before, some new stuff. It's really cool to see that we're kind of moving away from advancing 3x3 hardware and working on some of these bigger cubes that have been lacking in recent years. And this concept of putting magnets in those like hidden edge pieces is really cool. It definitely makes the cube feel more stable. And I think the idea is to fix the issue of just having a ball core where some of these slice turns don't feel even amongst the other slices. So I think the idea is that those hidden edge pieces are supposed to make it feel more even. But I definitely think having all those magnets makes the cube feel more stable and helps with preventing some of those major misalignments and preventing some of the popping. And before I give my final thoughts, of course I have to do a solve on it and make sure that it can stand up to actual solving conditions, not just doing a couple of algorithms. Oh yeah, like, just doing these first few turns, like, this cube is so good. My opinion's not gonna change. Like, for out of the box performance, this is absolutely incredible. Like, I gotta say, this is one of, if not the best 4x4, like, available right now. Like, it is so good for not having, like, any adjustment to the tensions. We haven't lubed it at all. It's honestly incredible how good it is just out of the box. There we go, 39. There's no setup to the cube. I haven't warmed up at all. That's incredible. So yeah, when it comes to my final thoughts, this cube is so good. I really enjoy this cube. I love the compact feeling of it. I just love the overall performance and the turning feel, and it is one of, if not the best 4x4 right now. I would highly recommend getting this cube, especially if you have a older 4x4 like the MGC or the AoSu WRM. If you do have one of those cubes and you're trying to decide between this one or the Vin Cube, it's probably gonna come down to what your price range is and what kind of features you want in a cube. If price is something you're taking into consideration, but a ball core is something you don't mind not having, I would probably go with the V7s. The single track versions, the frosted one is $19.95 and the UV one is $24.95. Whereas with the Vin Cube, the frosted one starts at $24.95 and then the UV one is $29.95. If you have to have a 4x4 with a ball core, I would probably go with the Vin if you're concerned about price, because the ball core version of the Vin is $32.95, whereas the double track version of the V7, which has the ball core, is $44.95, and the triple track, which is the next step up, which has those hidden edge magnets, that one is $55.95. But whichever cubes you do end up choosing, both are really good options. Me personally, I'm probably gonna get two of these so I can at least have one as a main and a backup. But that's pretty much it for this video. If you guys enjoyed, please leave a like and subscribe and comment down below which one of these cubes you'll be picking up and if you think that it's the best 4x4 of 2024 or maybe of all time. Anyways, that's it for this video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.